Football is a 20th century technological struggle.
And what I seen was this whole raft of people a-setting on these two banks and looking at one another across this pretty little green cow pasture.
Football has hitting, clipping, spearing, blocking, piling on, late hitting, unnecessary roughness, and personal fouls.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Stanley County Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley is impressed. Brian Carter, Carter Video Services. We got a big one tonight. No other way to say this. This game has been on the date of these teams since the schedules were released. It's October 18th. This is a big game tonight as West Stanley hosts the South Stanley Rowdy Rebel Bulls. The Colts can win the Stanley Cup tonight with a victory. They are 6-0. They're warming up right behind me. 6-0 on the season. In the nearly 60-year history of football at West Stanley High School, the Colts have never started a season 6-0. So they are setting history this season. Jordan Manshak is the quarterback. You see him warming up as well. Jordan Poole is the man out of the running back. Also, they get great contributions from Logan Little and several others on offense. Defensively, they have been very tough this year. Names like Hagan Lawhon and Gavin Hudson have been absolute stalwarts for a Colts defense that is not giving up a lot of points. And, of course, last week we saw the South Stanley Rowdy Rebel Bulls, who are looking to spoil West Stanley's chance tonight to win that Stanley Cup outright tonight. The Bulls are 3-3 on the season. Correction, that may be 4-3. I'll have to check later. 4-3. This team just won last week, against Northmore. We will, of course, see the quarterback, number 3, Jaquez Cook, warming up in your picture. Quez can absolutely hurl the ball, and not only that, but when he gets out in the open field and starts to extend plays, he is absolute football magic. South Stanley, West Stanley, the biggest rival, one of the longest running rivalries in the county. We'll be back with the head coaches on Monday Night Football. Back here on the pregame show on Stanley County Monday Night Football with South Stanley head coach Ryan Osher. Coach, let's talk a little bit first. Big win for you guys last week. But after the game, you talked to your team and said, this is the game coming up this week. Tonight is the game you've been looking for. What have you told this team, and what has this team kind of been like in practice this week?
They've been hungry since last year in September when we played West Stanley, lost by 3. It's been hard to keep them out of focus of West Stanley all year. Right. So we've had a hard time of keeping them focused on each individual game. But now I said, let loose. This is the game you've been looking for. And they've really stepped up this week in practice, really focused, really gung-ho, upbeat, flying around. We're healthy. We're still down Marcus, but other than that, we're 100%.
Well, and to be able to start county play a little later in the season when you've got a few games under your belt, is that more of an advantage or a disadvantage?
At this point, I don't know. Yeah. It could go either way. Sometimes you get teams off guard at the beginning of the year. Sometimes you may get them where they're overconfident later in the year. So it's hard to say. We just got to control us. I've said that to you before. Do our job, control us. If we can do that, we should be fine.
What has preparing this week for West been like?
A lot to prepare for. I mean, they don't do much, but they do what they do well. They're very well coached, very, very good athletes. You can't take anything away from Poole. I mean, he's leading the county in rushing. I mean, leading his conference in rushing. So, I mean, he's doing a great job on himself. Hardest thing for me this week has been keeping our guys from hurting each other in practice. We've been doing a great job of listening, paying attention to what our details are, what our responsibilities are, jobs. It's been good, but keeping our egos down to a level where we don't hurt ourselves.
Right. What do you think the keys to a victory tonight for South Stanley are? What do you have to do well?
Well, number one, we got to stop Poole. He's got 70% of their offense on, and the kid is unreal. We've got to do what we got to do to stop him. Maintain with the rest of the guys, let them try to nickel and dime us. If we can do that on defense, we're good. We've got to control the ball. Up front, we got to maintain with our front line. And we just got to keep doing what we did last week with our skill position, making plays, creating differences for their defense, and keeping them on their heels.
Thank you very much, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We'll be back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Back here on the pregame show on Stanley County Monday Night Football with Brett Morton, the head coach for the West Stanley Colts. Coach, let's talk a little bit about 6-0, school, first time in school history. What does that mean to you and mean to this program?
It's good, but we're not wrapped up in that right now. It's one game at a time. Our guys have embraced the one game at a time, 1 week at a time mentality. So, our whole goal is to go play the game that week, and what we've done before doesn't matter, and what we're about to do is all we're concerned with.
Preparing for South Stanley tonight, what have been some of the biggest concerns that you've had coming into this game?
Definitely have some size. Anytime they've got Cook at quarterback, that he's special. He can run around. He can make plays. So he's definitely the guy we've got the key on. They've got some guys at skill positions that we need to make sure we get wrapped up as well.
And on the other side of the football, South always brings a lot of pressure. How do you think that kind of goes up against your offense?
I think there's things that we can do to counteract it. We've worked the blitz during the week, so it's going to be like anything else. We got to execute the way we're supposed to execute.
What are the keys of victory tonight for West Stanley to bring home that Stanley Cup?
Execute the way we're supposed to execute. Tackle well, contain the quarterback. Those are our keys.
Thank you very much, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
We'll be back with the kickoff. It's West and South, a big game tonight on Monday Night Football.
Live. You can watch a few minutes on the program. Let's go to WBTV.com/live. And you will be there. We will have it ready for you. You will dial the scores and the highlights at that time. BTV.com/live. That's going to be left for Monday night for the real Monday Night Football game. The real Monday Night game is going to be at 10:21 Spectrum TV. It'll start at 7 o'clock. That's on 10:21 YouTube at TV. Charles Curcio.
Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Stanley County Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press, Brian Carter, Carter Video Services. We are here tonight at West Stanley High School as the Colts take on the South Stanley Rowdy Rebel Bulls. And Brian, this has been a rivalry of long-standing proportions. This is the 60th game between these two teams.
Yeah, this is a big deal tonight, Charles, because I think we all know why that West Stanley could potentially get away with
that little trophy that we like to give away every year, the Stanley Cup, which is sitting right next to me up here in the press box as we speak. We snuck it up here.
Yeah,
undercover of my coat.
Undercover
yes.
of the night.
Yes. Yeah. I had a couple of people looking at it. I know it's under that coat. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not fooling anyone. Anyway, South Stanley has already taken the field. South Stanley this season has shown some signs, but they have also had some struggles. I think, Brian, in my mind, they're 4-3 on the season. I think one of the biggest changes for South Stanley was losing Marcus Green to injury.
Yeah.
That took away a genuine threat in the backfield to go along with Jaquez Cook. So we will see what the Bulls, as you see right now, all the Colt crazies, it's breast cancer awareness, so a lot of pink out on the field tonight. And
let's see, what does that banner say? Colts tackle for
a cure. Yeah, they're all about trying to find that cure for breast cancer, absolutely. And tonight is about that. That's one of the themes tonight, but that Stanley Cup is the big deal tonight. And both the captains are moving towards the center of the field.
So we'll get the coin toss here and see who will accept or defer.
I think it'll be interesting to see who wants to do what here. I would think that West Stanley would like to maybe establish themselves straight from the get-go and take the football, but you never know. It'll depend on the toss of the coin, as you said.
We see a lot of deferment this year. You know?
A lot of teams want to set up for the second half. The 60th meeting all time, as we just said, between the Colts and the Rowdy Rebel Bulls. It's a very close series. West Stanley has won 54.2% of the games. They are 31, 26, and 2 lifetime against South Stanley.
So it's going to be a close race tonight.
Yeah, no two county teams, no two Stanley teams have played each other more than South Stanley and West Stanley. And, of course, tonight we regret not being able to be also at Albemarle North Stanley, not dividing ourselves in half and sending those halves over to do that game.
Yeah. Spread ourselves out a little too thin there, Charles.
Yes, that would be a little too thin, true. But we regret not being able to be at that game as well. But this is a big game as well. That cup is on the line. And South Stanley, this is their first county game of the season, and it's coming 7 games into their regular season schedule. They only have 11 games left, and they have 4 games left, and 3 of the next 4 games are county games.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, the last part of the season here for us, Charles.
The Bulls have won a county championship before, but they have never won a Stanley Cup before. And the reason for that is that the Cup has only been awarded since 1993. But if you go back far enough, South Stanley won county championships in 85, 86, and 1989. But they are the only county team that has not put their name on that cup, and they would like to do so tonight. South Stanley has won the toss and will receive and move right to left across your television screens. So we will get a look at Lawhon, Hudson, and company on defense, who we have seen several times this year for West Stanley. A very impressive defense, to say the least.
The West Stanley Colts getting ready to take the field here, flag in hand.
As we were saying, this season, West Stanley has outscored its opposition 271 to 67.
They got the fog machine going and everything.
The most that they have ever given up this year so far is 21 points. Coming through the fog and the horn, here come the West Stanley Colts.
Wow, hard to hear anything.
6-0 on the season. Never been done before in the school's nearly 60-year history. Like South Stanley was, and Coach Osher was saying to us earlier, this is a game that South Stanley had pinned in their schedule a long time ago, and I'm sure West Stanley would say the exact same thing as well.
Oh, yeah, they've been looking forward to this for all year long.
Well, considering also that they have already beaten Albemarle, they've already beaten North, so it sets up for that Stanley Cup, which is, as most of the teams have, one of their goals coming into this season every year for all the teams is to win that Stanley Cup.
You know, Coach Morton, he really supports these guys and everything, but he's not satisfied yet, as you can see him going up and down the sideline on your TV screen.
And I think that's the key. I think that he realizes that, 6-0 is a great thing. It's a great mark. It's a great accomplishment. No one would deny that. But there are so much more for the West Stanley, in his mind, for them left to do. There is so much more for them to accomplish. Jaime Jaramillo
definitely don't want their heads to get too big at this moment.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Jaime Jaramillo is going to be kicking off for West Stanley. Malik Klutz and Jadarian Smith are deep. West Stanley, South Stanley, number 60. Let's roll.
Let's go.
High end over end kick. Oh, bounces in. Oh, it's taken by West Stanley at the 25. What a break for the Colts.
Wow.
Down to the 21.
It's definitely not the start the Bulldog.
The Bulls wanted, absolutely not. You know,
The Bulls wanted.
he could have tried to call for a fair catch, but he didn't. So that's a live ball.
Yep.
And what a play by Austin Stoker.
And that puts him deep into Bull territory.
And it works kind of as a fumbled catch, basically. Ball's at the 24-yard line of South Stanley. It'll be spotted at the 24. You can't advance it, I'm assuming. What a play by Austin Stoker, just Johnny on the spot. And with 5 seconds into this game, and the first big break has already gone to West. Now going to throw towards the end zone's got a man. Knocked away at the last second. Jadarian Smith with a great play knocking the ball away from Will Barbie.
And it just saves a touchdown.
The quarterback, of course, is Jordan Manshak. We're going to see a battle of two quarterbacks having very good seasons.
Oh yeah, Manshak has been a beast this year.
Shaq has been good, and so has Quez.
Oh yeah.
You're good when you can only have to have one syllable.
Yeah.
Quez Shaq. Quez Shaq. There you go.
Quez Shaq. That's what we'll. Manshak, we'll just call you Shaq.
2nd and 10 now, and it's Poole's first carry. He's going to cut up the middle, and gets away momentarily from big number 56, Colby Allman. He'll get about 7. It'll bring up 3rd down, and 3. And West Stanley is not going to be in a hurry. This is a big game, but you just feel like the way West is approaching this is like the way they have approached every game this season, calmly and going to go at their own. Methodical is the word that I have always said about the Colts this season, especially.
Duck Colts.
Poole again with the most. Now the toss sweep, got a blocker in front of him. It was Brack Morgan. 10.
Take it to the house.
5. He's going to get near the end zone, but he's going out of bounds at the 4.
Well, he knocked over the pylon. It looked like he
also knocked over Jadarian Smith at the same time, and but he had already stepped out of bounds, I believe. So they will mark him 1st and goal at the 4. But did you see Jadarian Smith? He got knocked upwards into the air by Jordan Poole. Poole is 6'1", 221 pounds, and he runs. He runs like a scat back, but he's got the power and the size of a big back. And now before the snap, it looked like I think that was Brack Morgan possibly.
Yeah, I think we might have a false start on West Stanley, and we do.
Yep.
And that'll back him up 5.
First down is brought to you by East Coast Wings and Grill.
So it'll be 1st and goal now from the 9. Morgan moved early. Actually, they're going to mark it at it looks like more like the 8.5 yard line. Only a minute in, and the Colts are in the red zone knocking on the door.
And they're taking their time.
Going to toss it this time. Sideways, end zone, touchdown! Gavin Hudson, touchdown, West Stanley Colts.
We've called that young man's name a lot this year.
We certainly have. A scoring drive of exactly 1 minute. Jaramillo for the point after. Extra point is up, and it is good. 10:55 left, opening quarter. Colts draw first blood, 7-0. Back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press, and Brian Carter of Carter Video Services.
It's a loud one tonight, Charles. I tell you, the crowd is very excited.
Very into this game. Another high end-over-end kick. Going to be taking a fair catch this time at the 24-yard line by Quavy Caraway.
The Bulls are saying, we're hanging on to this.
Well, I think that was the message that came across. I'm sure, is that you can do that, and then you just gotta put the catch away.
You know, let Cook and company get the offense on the field and see what they can do.
Absolutely.
But they are behind 7-0 at this point, 10:55 to go in the first quarter.
The running back is number 18, Cameron Honeycutt.
And we have a stoppage of play here.
And Jadarian Smith is set sort of as an H-back. 3 wide receivers. Caraway is in the slot. Gaddy on the far side.
I think that was a sideline warning.
And Malik Klutz on the near side. It was a sideline warning, yes, you say. South is going to try to spread the field for sure. And try to get the ball out to Duquez in space. Wants to throw first down. Ooh, pressure up the middle. Just over the outstretched hands of Jadarian Smith.
Yeah, that was a bullet right there.
That was incomplete, and I'll tell you something, that left a vapor trail as it went through the air.
Oh, yeah, he had a lot of mustard on it.
Brings up 2nd down and 10.
Cooks in shotgun.
And before that, we have a penalty marker that comes in.
Let's check
and
that.
I believe we have a false start against. Yeah, that is a false start against South.
So they'll lose 5 on that. Now the band's in good form tonight, Charles.
Brings up 2nd down and 15. They certainly are. Up the middle, nothing doing. Quez took a shot, too, at the end of that. He was going to lose another yard back to the 18.
Yeah, again, Hudson was in on that tackle. 33.
Third and 16 now. Quez wanting to throw, has a little room to the near side. Now we'll toss one up. He's got a man open. Oh, right through the hands. Looking for 17, Malik Klutz.
That would have been a beautiful catch.
And
Klutz
had a step, too. I believe it was Cole Carter. It was. He got past Carter and Christian Bowden as well. And this will bring up a likely punting situation. But, of course, this is South Stanley, and there is such thing as a punting situation necessarily.
Yeah, I think that's probably the smartest thing to do is just punt this way. Try to. You ain't going to be pin them deep, but I don't think it's a position in the field where you want to.
So the defense, the defense does its job. A 3 and out, apparently looking like a 3 and out. And they are going to go for it. And they got Gaddy, and it's a first down, and he's got a whole lot more. Wow. Gaddy across the 50 to the 46. That's what I was saying.
Unbelievable.
You cannot.
Coach, I mean, he's like riverboat for sure.
He's riverboat run for sure. It is absolutely.
And that gets him down to midfield, Charles. And a first down. Move the stick, stop the clock with 10:04 to go in this first quarter.
Down to the west, 45, and that's just what we said.
That was a
he does not
move.
He does not like to punt the football, even
Absolutely
in a situation where you would want to. 4 wide receivers this time, trips right. And Quez is going to keep it. Gets a block from Honeycutt, tries to get outside, and West Stanley just strings him along nicely. Good open field tackle. Ooh, and a little at the extra there. And South Stanley wanting a penalty, and I don't know, I see one forthcoming. Stoker finished the tackle up.
Well, it's forward progress bringing back the line of scrimmage, wouldn't it, Charles?
It depends on the spot. We'll see what they do. Yeah,
I think it does. So they didn't lose anything.
actually lost. Actually, Brian, I'm sorry to correct you, but they lost 5 yards on that
5
play.
yards on that.
So he was actually stopped because he was trying. It was a shotgun snap, and he just never got forward. Yeah. West just strung him along sideways. So it's 2nd and 15 now. 8 minutes left to go in this opening quarter. Quez wants to throw, puts it up, single man-on-man coverage, but it's well overthrown.
Dangerous into double coverage there, Charles.
He had Stoker and Poole. Stoker and Poole were in the area for Gaddy. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 15. South Stanley and Coach Osher and Quez are not afraid to throw deep, as they've already just shown twice in this game. With Jordan Poole back there guarding the backside of West Stanley's defense.
That's how they're spread out.
As their safety, it just gives you that other option too, Brian. Trips left this time on 3rd and 15.
I wouldn't be surprised if he handed it off to Poole, but no, he's going to the air. He's in trouble.
And he's in trouble. He's going to get around to the outside. He will get a first down, just does. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. The spot is short. He looked like he had a first down, but they're going to spot him a yard short.
Oh, it looked like he
had the first down.
I
think that might be a poor spot.
Too bad you can't challenge in high school.
Down to the 30. Yeah, there's no challenge. Down to the 36. It'll be 4th and 1, and it will be definitely, if they're going to go for it on 4th and long on that budget, they're going to go for it here. But critical play here early, 4th down and 1. And they get to Honeycutt. Honeycutt is hit hard, high and low.
Big number, 75.
That's 75 is Alvin Hutchinson, and 52, Travis Wilson. And it's a turnover on downs.
Wow.
And Honeycutt,
big heads-up play.
Honeycutt never had a chance.
He's getting kudos from his fellow players and coaches.
He never had a chance on that one.
So that stops that drive and turns the ball over to the Colts with 8:43 to go in the first quarter. That was a great opportunity for the Rowdy Rebel Bulls there.
Well, they kept the drive alive with a fake punt, but could not convert on 4th and 1.
To no avail.
And the spot probably is what made probably one of the biggest differences.
There's Poole on the outside. He's
Here
got
goes
room.
Poole. First down and more. Around the end into South territory to the 47.
Ball carried up that to 3. Jordan Poole on the left-hand side.
They have not been able to contain Poole particularly yet in this game. He's only had 2 carries, though. We will see how the trend continues there as he gets 16 and a first down on just his 2nd carry of the game.
Well, they're taking advantage of this 40-second time clock, Charles.
They're going to take every moment of that they can.
That's what they've done. Look at it, offsides. We got a penalty.
Yeah, and it's going to be false start, I believe.
West.
I believe someone on the left side of the line moved a little early, and it'll bring up 1st and 15. And one could say that those kind of penalties, Brian, are just being a little overactive, being anxious, because this is such a big game.
Such a big game.
You know, you don't ever want to overstate or understate the real importance of a game, and we see so many of these. But the county games mean something. That cup means something to these players.
It is almost personal, if you want to say.
And it's very much personal. And West and South, having the redistricting that has happened there, so many former West guys are at South and vice versa.
Look at that hole.
Here's a big gain and going to be close to a first down. Boy, does he finish strong, too. Daniel Hansen put his shoulders down.
Ran over number 10 there.
Jadarian Smith has taken a beating so far early in this game. He took a shot from Poole.
He looked a little shaken up there.
One cannot blame him. He took a shot from Poole earlier, and that time Hansen, all 5'11", 193 pounds of him.
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah, I mean, it was early in this game with 7:40 to go. He's going to want to stay away from Poole.
Running into Jadarian Smith, who runs on the roster 5'6", 145. That's just not that's a tough size matchup right there.
It is.
That's a heavyweight
Shaq under center.
Pound-wise versus a middleweight. Now Shaq wants to throw, but he's going to go down in the arms
That's
of
57.
56 and 57. That's Colby Allman and Johnny Colson. So a loss of a couple of yards will take it back to the 42 and brings up 3rd down and 4. Shaq 0 for 2 now in this game. On the ground, though, Wes Stanley has 56 yards already on 6 carries. 3rd and about 4. 7 minutes left in this opening quarter. The Colts lead.
Well, they're taking
7-0, and that's just what their game is going to be.
That's the dangerous part about the Colts.
Gives it to Poole. Poole's got some room. Cuts back across the middle and will go down. He's got a first down around the 33.
Now stop the clock with 6:48 to go.
Tackle made by number 5, Justin Gaddy.
Gaddy on the tackle, but it will be a first down. He had some good room on the sideline, but he sort of chose to go up the middle.
Well,
and he kind of ran back into the defense.
Yeah, and the offensive line, all year long, they've done a great job of opening holes for Poole.
And they're doing it again tonight. They're well blocked. These plays that Wes Stanley has run all season long. Hanson in motion. They're going to toss it to Hudson, and Hudson's got a block in front of him. He's got a first down as well.
And more.
And more, and he's still on his feet. He's gone. Touchdown. Wes Stanley Colts. And I don't see any flags on the field.
Yeah, folks, no flags. So that is 6 points right there. Let's see if they can tack on the PAT. Wow, Hudson has just been something to watch this year. Kind of an underrated player, wouldn't you say?
I would say he is starting as a sophomore to really make a name for himself.
Oh, yeah. We've already given him Player of the Week.
Defensively, he's been Player of the Week. He's working on Offensive Player of the Week at this rate.
If he keeps this rate up, yeah.
Jaron Miller for the point after. And it's one of those things, Brian, if Wes Stanley can find other people to take the load off of Poole.
That's exactly right, and I think they're finding it. They're really finding a way with Hudson.
And the extra point is good. 6:17 left. Opening quarter. Colts lead 14-0. Back on Stanley County, Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press, and Brian Carter of Carter Video Services.
That was Carter.
Carter. Mr. Carter. Senior Carter. Another short kickoff, and Caraway will fair catch it at the 25.
No return. Hey, want to remind you.
So it looks like they'll start on their own 25-yard line. And let's see what Cook and Company have in store for the Colt defense here.
In the stable, I don't think there's much of a need for snowtones tonight. They got coffee down there. You can also buy your tickets with golf ball drop.
First time they've been selling coffee in the concession stand. I guarantee you that one right there.
If you're real nice, Charles, I will get you a cup of coffee if you want a cup of coffee or cocoa.
I'm good right now. Two wide receivers in the near side. Split backfield this time on first down. Going to give it to Jadarian Smith, and he just runs right into.
That was close.
Oh, and there is going to be a flag. There's a penalty marker down.
You saw that, didn't you?
It was Alvin Hutchinson, number 75. Yeah, and that's.
You can't get away. You just can't get away with that. So that'll tack on 15.
I don't think it's a question of getting away with it, Brian. I think, honestly, I don't think that's what he was aiming for. He's just so much taller than he was. And that was just the first part. I don't think what I'm saying is there was anything malicious about it.
No, it's just, like you said, so much.
Sort of an inconvenient, sort of an inconvenient truth, if you will.
Really turned his head around. He's about to do an exorcist on him with,
Yeah, it kind of was.
Linda Blair kind of thing.
34-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 10 again for the Bulls at the 34. Blitz coming on the left side. Quez gets rid of it. Single coverage once again, and this time Stoker's got an interception at the 25. He was with Klutz step per step.
Well, that stops that drive, Charles.
And not only that, it once again, Stoker has had a huge game so far already. He's recovered a kickoff, and now he's got himself an interception at the West 25.
And now bring Manchak and company back on the field. 5:58 to go, 14-0 in the first quarter.
So basically 2 turnovers in this game. 2 turnovers in this game have set the Colts up. And we'll see what the Colts do with this second turnover. Here's Poole. Gets away from one spin move. Look out. Gets away from Garraway momentarily, but Garraway stays with him and it takes 4 Bulls
Well, can I
to
say
knock
it
him
now?
down
Can I
to
say it now, Charles?
39.
It took a plethora of Bulls to bring
is 4
Poole
a
down.
plethora, really? I mean, like
4,
5,
6,
6 maybe. I don't know. You always steal my lines even before I can use them.
Wow, those spin moves, man, of Poole.
Steal more catchphrases than a pro wrestler. 1st and 10 for the 39 now. But, you know, the great spin moves, Poole can do that, but he can also run you over, too. So
Exactly.
he just gives you so many more dimensions offensively. .635 here. Or is that a 5? I can't tell. Might be 5:30.
Yeah.
Gonna toss it to Poole this time. Oh, he fell down. Oh, it's a
dangerous. Oh,
fumble,
my
and it's
goodness.
recovered by South Stanley.
Wow, what a break for the Rowdy Rebel Bulls.
There's also a penalty marker down, so hold the phone.
Hold the phones.
So it's a bad pitch. Holding against West will be declined, and South will take over. And the first turnover for the game by West Stanley gives the Bulls good field position at the West 33.
Well, they've had the opportunities. They need to capitalize on those opportunities like this when they have a takeaway.
So dueling turnovers that time, and it'll be 1st and 10 for South Stanley at the West 33.
Great break for the Bulls.
The Bulls need to get something going here. Down 2 scores already early in this game. And we have another penalty marker, and I believe we have another false start against South. We do.
Penalties are killing them.
Penalties are starting to hurt a little bit.
Plenty of opportunities. They just need to capitalize on them.
Well, they've had, they had a good drive down here. That was turnover on downs.
I mean, this could easily be a tied-up game at this point.
The problem is that South Stanley has had to deal from a defensive position to start with. That opening turnover, and not to harp on it, but that opening turnover
First minute wasn't even a minute.
put South on the defensive to start with. Quez tries to turn the corner. He will not. Nice tackle that time by Bowden. Bowden might have hurt himself. It looked like, yeah, he's favoring that ankle a little bit. It's a nice open field tackle on Cook.
Yeah, Christian Bowden.
And there's a penalty marker down, and I believe we have another holding penalty in the game, and this time this one will go against South. I'm still waiting for We're waiting for some adjudication on it.
Still a little discussion.
And it will be holding against South. So Cook's run will not. So the ball will be all the way back to the South 48.
God, they're going backwards here.
So what's funny is it's not just a 10-yard penalty. It's a spot foul. The hold happened 5 yards behind. It turns into 15 yards, basically. So it's 1st and 25 now for a drive that started at the West 33. Pressure again on the outside. Cook's going to get it out of it. He just does get away. Almost picked off. 2 different Colts had a shot at it this time. Cole Carter and Jarrett Taylor.
The only players in the vicinity that could have caught it were Colts.
Well, Quez ran out of real estate when he came to the near side of the field, Brian, and then I thought he was close to stepping out of bounds, too. He was very close as well.
Yeah.
And he just tried to force one in there. That's the only thing that we have seen, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the only thing we have seen from South Stanley this season is Quez has a tendency, he can make great things happen, but he also sometimes tries to make something happen when the safest thing is just to throw the ball out of bounds.
They're showing blitz.
And try again. Showing blitz on the outside. Quez little short throw this time, complete to Smith. Smith 50. Oh, is he hit hard from behind?
Yes, number 51.
That's Jessup Bowers.
Just nailed him from the backside.
Certainly did. Only a gain of about 3, but it's a completion.
Long ways to go for a first down. Clock continues to run with 4:25 to go. High snap.
Quez wants to throw and tries to get outside and will, but he'll go back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up 4th and long.
What do you do, Charles? Go for it?
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I would love to be able to tell you, but we know that Coach Osher. Yeah, we know that Coach Osher doesn't go by any sort of playbook. He actually lost 2 yards back to the 50-yard line. And it's 4th and very long. 4th and downtown Locust at this point.
Cooking shotgun.
It's in the shotgun, but they got 2 wides out, so could be a punt, could be a throw. Oh, it's a bad snap on the punt. Never having a chance was Lawson Hicks.
Yeah.
And so that really hurts South Stanley. That's a 25-yard. That's a 25-yard loss on just a bad snap, Brian.
And we can see the South fans are very disgruntled at this point. We had a good crowd to come out tonight from Norwood, North Carolina.
3 minutes, 54 seconds left, opening quarter. Colts with excellent field position. Poole might have moved a little early.
He's still on his feet.
Still on his feet. There's a penalty marker down. He's down at the 26. I believe this might be going against. It is immediately holding against West.
Back him up 10.
Well, one of the rare things to happen this season is Poole losing yards on a play.
Yeah, you don't see that too often.
We'll make it 1st and about 21 now. Back to the 36. So 1st and 21 now for the Colts. Special teams have been a bit of a struggle tonight so far for South Stanley. Fumble on the kickoff and then that bad snap. Shaq wants to throw.
Yeah.
Got a little time. It's complete to Hudson at the 25. He got a first down, trying to cut across the field, still on his feet.
Wow.
And down to the 4-yard line. Look at him directing traffic in front of him to try to get down there, Brian.
I mean, early in the game, Charles, but it's like Hudson again is making a vie for Player of the Week.
Yeah, but not only is he making a vie for Player of the Week, and I don't know that that's even a consideration, honestly, Brian. He's just having a whale of a first quarter.
Yeah.
Not only does he run the ball well,
the second quarter yet.
But, you know, that play there. Sets up the Colts 1st and goal at the 5 with 3:10 left.
Hudson again.
And Hudson again, and this time he is going to get stood up and folded backwards. Ugh.
Like a piece of origami.
It could have been, but it's one of those dangerous plays where the legs get caught from underneath. They'll give him a yard forward progress. And that brings up 2nd down and goal. Right now it's the 3 and 33 show. It's all about the threes right now.
A long first quarter.
11 carries, 107 yards on the ground for West so far. Pools has got it this time. What a great misdirection play. End zone touchdown. West Stanley Colts.
Spins way in there and gets a touchdown.
You got to wait for the horn to stop before you talk. It's hockey. You have to think like a hockey announcer. When they score the goal, you wait for the horn, then you talk.
Wait
yes.
for the horn. Well, the horn's new to me. Let's see if they can put on this.
That's okay, folks. Color television is due for him, too, as well. 2:20 left. Opening quarter. Jaramillo for the point after. And the extra point is up, and it is good. 2:20 left. 21-0 in favor of the Colts. Back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press. Brian Carter, Carter Video Services.
And the Colts are taking an impressive lead here, 21-0.
Colts in the driver's seat at the moment. Short kick again taken by Quavy Caraway at the 31.
I'm sure Cook and company are wanting to get something rolling here, get some points on the board. I mean, still early in this game, you know.
We're still not out of the first quarter yet, and 21-0. West is already over 120 yards on the ground. I make it 110 yards. 31 yards through the air.
I think this one.
West trying to dodge to the outside. Whoa, what a shot he took at the end there.
Oh, but number 5.
Big shot by Cole Carter.
Get out of bounds, number 5, Cole Carter. Game 6, 2nd down and 4.
Second down and 5 now. Or make it a 2nd and 7. Little high snap this time. Cook loads up. He's got a man. First down, Malik Klutz at the 47.
That's what they needed.
And that's the first time in this game that I would say, and not only is it the first, it's not the first completion, but it's the first effective completion to get something going for South Stanley in this game. Trips left this time for South with 1:15 left in the first quarter. 21-0. The Bulls trailing West Stanley. High snap again, going to throw the near side, complete to Smith. Smith's got some room, shugs off a couple of tackle attempts, and he's got a first down.
I thought I saw a hold by the Bulls there.
No flag is forthcoming. And they'll mark it at the 42.
Gets them into Colt territory. And we're winding down this first quarter with 50 seconds to go.
It's been all West Stanley so far.
But the Bulls are on the run.
The South's got the kind of offense that can score and score quickly. Rushing 5 this time. Another right through the middle. He got away from him, and Quez gets away, now directing traffic 30, 25, and he'll scoot out of bounds at the 23, and there's a penalty marker. Oh, and I think Klutz may get called for a block in the back. The flag went right directly towards the end of that run, holding against South, and it was Klutz in front of him.
So that all comes back. Great effort by Cook.
So it's going to be a spot foul and put the ball at the 33. And it'll be first down and about 1. Actually, they're going to bring it out to measure. I think they're going to bring it out to measure the football because he may, whether it's either first down and 1 or they'll have to move the chains.
While they're bringing the chains out, we'll get the players out there get a little bit of water.
Let's wait here while they bring the chain game out.
Some early stats in this game. Cook is 4 of 9. He's had to throw 9 passes already in this opening quarter. 4 of 9 for 65 yards. He has 1 interception. He has 6 carries for 28 yards. He basically has been the entire offense for South Stanley in this game. When it will be a first down.
For the football.
So despite getting a penalty, in one of those, here comes one of your statistical oddities. They'll lose 10 yards, but they get a first down. So it'll be first down and 10 at the 32. And that's one of the effects of a spot foul on a play like that. South has about 20 seconds left to run one final play.
And the clock's running. They better hurry up to the line.
15 seconds. They're just now getting to the line. I think the play's already been called.
They're taking their time.
5 wide receivers this time. West is having to spread out its defense. 4, 3, 2. They're not going to get this one off, and they didn't get it off. And that's the end of the first quarter. We will be back with the score: West Stanley 21, South Stanley nothing on Stanley County Monday Night Football. We're back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press. Brian Carter, Carter Video Services. 21-0. The Colts in charge. And Quez will lose yards. Well, he might. It might be a gain of a yard.
I think Cook's trying to take this all on his own shoulders.
He brings second down and 9, and you are absolutely right. He has been the lion's share of the offense.
He can't die. If he can keep it up, I don't know if he can keep it up the whole game.
Now calling an audible. And he's going to keep it on a draw play. Straight up the middle, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Now that's an audible. Touchdown, South Stanley Rowdy Rebel Bulls. No flags down.
Well, like we said, he's taking all
play. He checked the play at the line.
Yeah.
Saw how wide open the middle was, I'm thinking, and he just went straight up the middle. What a play.
Wow.
Just a straight draw play right up the middle for a 31-yard touchdown.
Well, that brings the Rowdy Rebel Bulls back into the game. 11:04 to go in the second quarter.
Gets them on the board at the very least. Jacob Garris going for the point after.
Just caught the defense of the Colts way off.
Snaps a little high, and the kick is a little short.
Good.
Did he get it through? No, he hooked it to the left. Right. So with 11:04 left in the first half, 21-6, but the Bulls are on the board. Back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press. Brian Carter, Carter Video Services.
Are we going for an onside?
We? This is a county versus county. Easy there, big boy. Cards and letters. Hey, he said, Brian Carter said that. The North Stanley grad said that.
It was just a faux pas.
Send the cards and letters towards him, folks. Short kick going to be taken by West Stanley to 33. 19 years we've been doing this, folks, and one of us may be going senile. I don't want to say which one it is.
Hey, you're close behind.
Yeah, I'm knocking on wood. I guarantee you that. You're right. You're right about that. First and 10 for the Colts now at the 27, leading 21-6.
Yeah, this PAT could make a difference. We've seen it before.
Poole gets the straight give, trying to get around the corner, 30, 35. He's going to get angled out of the end zone, out of play, the 44. Runs over another couple of Southdale. Jadarian Smith once again, and good Lord Almighty.
Listen to that crowd.
The crowd is loving it, but I'm telling you, if there's an Iron Man award right now, Jadarian Smith should get it, because that's about the third absolute shot he's taken in this game, which just shows how tough he is, for sure.
Pretty soon I'll be saying, I don't want to be around Poole. I don't want to cover him.
I believe Virginia has now thrown their hat into the ring in terms of recruiting him as well.
Oh,
that's 5 Division I schools.
There's Poole again.
Trying to turn around the corner and gets past, runs over Gaddy. And Quavy and Gaddy will knock him out of bounds in South Territory at the 49-48.
First one there out of bounds for the 5, Justin Gaddy.
Gaddy's having a good game.
Game 9 on the play, second down and 1.
It'll be 2nd and 1. 10:30 left. West Stanley just methodically up 21-6 and taking their time.
Yep, no hurries, no worries.
Hudson this time, he's going to get the first down, but he's going to pay for it dearly. 51, wow, Cade Turner went on the tackle.
Effort, yeah.
Hudson got the first down, but he paid for it. And took a couple of mighty shots on that tackle.
He's a tough young man.
Certainly is, and is one of the. You say that a sophomore is a future star normally, but he's a star right now for West Stanley.
Yeah, still got a
his
couple
play
years
has got two more years plus the rest of this season to continue to develop.
Yeah, it could be a real asset to this Colt.
First and 10 for the Colts. Now Poole will go the other direction. Shaq wants to throw. His man's covered, though. He comes back to the other side of the field, gets a couple of crackback blocks, and is going to scoot out of bounds and just give up. I think he got a couple of yards on the carry. He actually scrambled his way for a gain of about a yard.
Yeah, I'm like he did. Yeah, I thought he'd probably throw that away.
Well, but he did the right thing, though. He didn't have the receiver he was looking for was covered. So what does he do? He turns back to the other side, tries to create when there's nothing there. Just get out of bounds.
That's maturity in a quarterback.
Absolutely. And that's what they've asked Manshak to do this year. He doesn't have to do everything.
Just manage.
Just manage the game, and he has done that. Hudson's going to get the toss this time. Avoids one tackle, gets around the corner, 40, 35, and out around the 31. There's a penalty marker sitting though at the 36. So we'll wait and see what the adjudication of that penalty will be. Holding against West, and the run will come back. So they'll mark it back to the other side of the 45, maybe the 46. Which will bring up second down now and 11. Boy, I really like our new ambient sound mic. You can hear the cheerleaders down there. You can hear so much more now. Shaq wants to throw this time, play action. Gets a couple of blocks. Boy, he gets hit hard at throw. It's an underthrown ball. Wow. What a great play coming back to the ball, though, by Will Barbie. Barbie had to come back to it because it was underthrown because Manshak got waylaid when he threw that football.
Look at the accuracy.
Will Barbie with the reception. About a 30-yard gain on the play.
Down to the 17, a 29-yard gain in the first down. It's not about accuracy, Brian. He actually, that ball probably would have been a little further downfield. Barbie had to come back to it, and he just out-battled, I believe it might have been Quavy Caraway. I wasn't sure who it was. On the outside, it was a one-on-one battle on the outside. Inside the red zone again are the Colts with under 9 minutes left. Twins left this time. Tackled out of bounds this time is number 21, Austin Stoker. They'll give him maybe a yard to bring up second down and 9.
And clock continues to run. 18 to go.
Well, but Brian, this is the kind of pace that West Stanley wants as well.
Oh, yeah.
Winning the game at the time of possession battle. Sometimes that statistic doesn't mean a lot, but when you have a team that relies on holding the football and grinding games down.
And they've been very successful.
Shaq's going to keep it this time, but a nice open field tackle by number 7, Nate Kirby, the senior for South. And it's going to set up a 3rd and long.
Getting some love from this.
Break it 3rd down and about 14 back at the 21, 22-yard line. So a 3rd and long situation. Let's see what West Stanley chooses to do. Poole is lined up instead of a wingback. He is lined up behind Manshak. They have a little conversation before the snap of the football. Will fake to Poole. Now he's looking for Poole the whole way, and he's got him at the 10. Still on his feet, but he's going to get ushered out of bounds. He's going to be short of the first down, I think, right at the 10-yard line.
Poole's just a hard man to take down. He does not want to go quite land that good.
He does not. You're right. It'll bring 4th down and 3. And it looks like West Stanley wants to go for it. 7:10 left in the first half. This drive has taken a long time down from the, it's been started at the 31-yard line of South Stanley and has gone down to the 31-yard line of West. Excuse me, I said that backwards.
Coach Manchak getting his instructions from Coach Morton.
4th and 3. It's Poole right side. He's got the first down inside the 5, down around the 4. Just massive blocking. So they'll mark it just inside the 5. I think it's closer to the 4-yard line. And it is 1st and goal with 7 minutes left, as you can see in our picture-in-picture.
Yeah. We're getting fancy up here, aren't we?
A motion to the far side this time. Poole gets a block from Hansen, and he is in. Touchdown, West Stanley Colts. Didn't get the call right away, but I saw that he was clearly across the line.
Would you see I waited that time?
And you did very nicely.
All right, let's see if they can tack on the extra point. Maybe it's a 28-6 game. There's the Colt crazies on the sidelines. Having a good time tonight.
5-minute drive just about that time for Jaramillo for the point after. Out of the hold of Will Barbie, who snaps a little low. Kick is up. That kick is good. 6:47 left in the second quarter. 28-6. back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press. Another short kickoff. Caraway's going to return this one this time at the 31, and it's just covered by Brack Morgan. And another guy looking for Player of the Week, Austin Stoker.
Yeah, down out there on 30.
Ball taken by number 1, Bobby Caraway. Ball's going to be spotted at the 31-yard line.
First and 10 from the 30 for South Stanley. Trips right this time. He'll throw far side. It's incomplete. Had one-on-one coverage. Klutz was a little too low to his left. He'll bring him second down.
It is JROTC. They're dressed in pink tonight to honor breast cancer awareness, breast cancer survivors for several of our cadets. That is very real and personal this year. JROTC is raffling a $200 Yeti cooler. They're giving out pink ribbons, breast cancer awareness literature, and bows. Those are for sale. $2 and $5, and large bows for sale.
Cook wants to throw again. This time, far side is complete.
Oh.
Caraway made a nice catch, but he's going to get the forward. Yeah, he's going to get the forward progress. They'll give him it to the 35. They'll bring up third down and 5.
Robbie Caraway takes the pass from Cook, tackle within 5. Cole.
So now for the game.
Third down and 5.
Cook is now 5 of 11 for 70 yards. He's thrown to 4 different receivers, and he has 61 yards on the ground. Third down and about 6. Cook's going to keep it towards the left side. He's got a first down, a whole lot more. 50, 45. Look at the moves. Oh, what a shot, and that's superstar versus superstar right there. 3 versus 3 as Cook gets knocked out of bounds by Poole.
Wow. Seems like Jordan Poole, he can do everything.
Poole is out there on defense as well. And he saves a touchdown for sure. And, you know, you're talking about irresistible force, meaning the immovable object when those two collide.
Exactly.
Battle of wills, to be sure. First and 10 for South now.
If it wasn't for Poole, he probably would have went to the house.
He didn't have, there wasn't much else.
Yeah,
he had green field in front of him. Past him, you're right. Little read option this time going nowhere. Alvin Hutchinson.
Didn't fool nobody.
Travis Wilson and Hagan Laha, number 42, all in on that tackle. The read option is a tough play for South to do right now. Not to take away from the senior Cameron Honeycutt, but without without Marcus Green in the lineup, he's just a terrific. He's just a kind of running back that makes that play so much easier. And West Stanley, when they see that read option, they're just blitzing straight up. Second and about 16. Pass near side, complete to Smith. Smith goes down to the 45.
Back made on number 10 to Derek Smith on number 40, Cassie Easter. Easter with the stop, gain of 3.
The gain of 3 will bring up third down and 12. We got to get down to the 33-yard line of West Stanley with 4:24 left in the first half. Oh, and a false start, I think, is going to get called possibly on one of the receivers.
I think Cook was
from where the indication, but it looks like it was going to be a false start. This will make it third down and 17.
Ronnie Ball balls are going the wrong way. That takes them right to midfield.
That is the 6th penalty against South for 45 yards. West has 5 penalties, though, so both teams have had their share of penalties in this first half of football. And speaking of which,
there you have another one.
And I believe this was the right side of the line again for South Stanley. This was the right side this time for South Stanley.
Yeah, penalties are really hurting the Bulls right now.
We'll mark it back to the South 45. Brings up 3rd down and 22. Clock is now running with 3:45 left. Bulls down 28-6. We're able to get on the scoreboard. Have not been able to stop West on defense. Cook now rolls to his left. Got you Darian Smith right at the 37-yard line. What a great play. And that's the perfect illustration of how dangerous he is when he extends plays.
He's such a mobile quarterback.
Not only is he mobile, but he extends the life of a play. And he's got good wide receivers to throw to as well. They'll bring up 4th down and 5 at the 30. We'll make it the 38-yard line. Obviously, got to be 4-down territory for the Bulls. 3 wide receivers to the near side.
Think he'll stay on the ground?
We'll see how much we'll see how much pressure West brings. Threatening blitz from the linebacker, 2 linebackers, and West Stanley. Another false start. I think South, either something happened with the cadence that time, or two of the South players saw the blitzer, the outside linebackers creeping in, and they jumped early.
So 5, back him up 5.
And it backs it up to the 43. Going to be the 8th penalty against South. And it brings up 4th down and 10 now. Penalties have hurt, but turnovers really have been the story of this game so far.
Yeah.
Cook's just going to keep it. And he is going to go out of bounds. Oh, and tackled late out of bounds and almost a flag, but it will not. It was Gavin Hudson.
That was
had Gavin not, had he not, he looked like he might have at the very last second sort of let up, but he's still down as well. Cook is still down over there on the sideline.
That's not good.
So a loss of 2 will give the Colts the football back. 2:24 left. Full complement of timeouts as well. And the Colts well in charge of this game so far. 154 yards on 21 carries. Averaging 7.3, and they also have 71 yards. They have 225 yards of offense in this first half. Going to add to it here. Hudson is going to get a couple. Nate Kirby is refusing to let go.
In the middle of the Larry Zonka moves.
Well, Hudson was trying that, but Nate Kirby would have nothing. Would not have it. Makes the play after a couple of yards. It brings up 2nd down and 8. South likes to bring a lot of pressure, likes to bring a lot of blitzes. But right now, they've just not been able. The run blocking of West Stanley has been superlative, to say the least. And the play-action game for West Stanley has produced enough to try to keep South a little more honest in this game. 3 of 4, Manshak is through the air for 71 yards. Minute 35 left. West taking their time. And give it to Hansen, and Hansen's got a 1st down inside South's territory to the 42. No flags are down, so the clock stops with 1:21 left.
That's top 57, Johnny Colson.
Daniel Hansen will get down to the 43, and the clock will now run with the chain set with minute 20.
All right, the Colts have their full complement.
Have their full complement of timeouts, moving a little quicker than they might normally, but still being very deliberate. Poole off the right side. What a block in front of him. He is gone. One man to beat is Jadarian Smith. Smith had the angle, but he could not stop him. Touchdown, West Stanley Colts.
He almost went into the field house.
With it, Poole now with his third rushing touchdown of the game. This one a 43-yard variety.
Wow. He's really padding his stats.
58.2 seconds left.
They were bound to determine they're going to put some more points on the board.
(34-6) now. That Stanley Cup coming closer and closer with every point scored and points not allowed. 35-6. And we'll be back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press. Brian Carter, Carter Video Services. Klutz takes the kickoff.
In trouble.
And we'll go down around the 26.
Brought down by Brian Morgan, number 4, Christian Ballard.
With 54 seconds left.
And we'll be halfway through this contest.
Cook fakes.
Going for
now
the
throws. Got a man open.
No.
Just off the hands.
Great effort.
Malik Klutz just maybe needed another half step or just needed that ball just a little further back. Not much. It didn't miss by much.
How many yards was that throw? That was a massive throw.
Well, the ball was at the 27-yard line. So you assume that that Cook was about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So probably, let's see, 10, 20, 30. That was about a 35-yard throw. Maybe 45.
Going for it again. In trouble.
Gets out of trouble. Looking for Smith. Smith can't get open, and Poole gets knocked out of bounds by Hudson with 38 seconds left. Going to bring him 3rd down and 7. 3rd about 7 at the 29 with 38.2 seconds left. (35-6) is our score. Cook rolls again. Got a man open. Caraway's got it at the 45, 40, 35, 30. Look out. And the one man to stop him is Jordan Poole at the 20-yard line.
Who else, right? Who
26
else?
seconds left. Clock will stop to move the chains, and South Stanley may call timeout here.
I would assume they start using their timeouts.
Just to regroup a little bit after that 50-yard pass, and they will. We'll take a timeout and be back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Back on Stanley County Monday Night Football, there's a stretcher going across South Stanley sideline. We're going to try to find out who that is for. Meanwhile, the Bulls have it at the Colts 20. Cook throwing end zone, looking for Klutz. Klutz out of bounds.
Way over
there was a little contact at the end of that, but the ball was not really catchable, and it'll bring up 2nd down. Never want to see a stretcher come down the sidelines for sure right now. And
Yeah, there's a group of people over there.
We're trying to keep an eye on it. Meanwhile, second down and 10 with 21 seconds left. Cook trying to, he turns in again and gets out of trouble. Gets away from Hutchinson. Now he's got all kinds of, he had a wide open man. Now throws close near sideline, out of bounds at the 2-yard line by Smith. The funny thing is that he had Quavy Caraway as wide open as a person can be on the other side of the field.
So he didn't cross the line of scrimmage when he threw that ball?
No, he did not. That's what they're ruling. So they'll mark it at the 1-yard line with 7 seconds left. I'm surprised South has not called timeout. Instead, choosing to run a play, I would call. I might want to call timeout if it were me. Well, you see, he was out of bounds. That's why they're not doing it. I see it now.
Oh, that's right.
So, first and goal from the 1 with 7.6 left. Cook tries to go the left side, but before that, we have penalty markers, and it's a false start.
South Stanley, yes, it is.
Move the ball back to the 6 with 6.2 left.
Let's see, we have a visual.
Super sound on the spot at the 6-yard line.
Cannot see the player's name or number. We will try to find out who it is at halftime. Meanwhile, the Bulls have 2 timeouts, but only 6 seconds left. Will spread the field 5 wide.
This is their chance to put some points on the board, some more points.
The thing for South, though, is Quavy Caraway, not only was he open by like 10 yards, it's the old Jackie Cooper play. You know, he's up there just waving his arms. I think it was Jackie, just waving his arms wide open.
Okay, they're using up that clock.
Well, the clock is, they're readjusting the clock is what they're doing, Brian. They put 7 seconds exactly back on the, now it's.
No, what?
Okay, they're trying to do some sort of clock adjustment. So
8.4.
they have 8.4 showing, and now 8.0.
7.2.
25 or 6 to 4. We'll figure out how much time is left in this first half. While we have a moment.
Okay, they're adjusting again.
But just we don't have to call the adjustment. 24 carries for West Stanley, 209 yards. But now Cook is 9 of 17, 159 yards. He has 1 interception. Now the West Stanley players are exhorting the crazies on this sideline to make some noise. 7.7 seconds is what we're going to work with for the rest of this first half. Cook wants to throw. Over the middle, tipped and incomplete. Nice play by Jordan Poole with 3.4 left.
Does it on offense and he does it on defense.
And now one last play.
Now 3.4 seconds.
From the 6-yard line. Being this close, you would think that you wouldn't think that South would try to kick a field goal, and they are not doing so. They are going to go for it. Here we go. 3.4 seconds left. The Bulls are down 35-6, trying to get some momentum into the locker room.
This will be the last play of the half.
A little trickery, and it's dropped, and it's going to be a fumble.
That's a
picked up by big Alvin Hutchinson. Hutchinson is rumbling around, down the field for the final play of the first half. So instead of getting momentum from a score, West Stanley gets momentum. Alvin Hutchinson is exhausted in the middle of the field. We'll be back with more. It's halftime. West Stanley 35, South Stanley 6. He's Brian Carter. I'm Charles Curcio. And we are Stanley County. Monday Night Football.
What am I going to learn?
Students will learn accounting principles, theories, and practice. They will also study business law, finance, management, and economics. Related skills are developed through the study of communications, computer applications, financial analysis, critical thinking skills, and ethics.
What are my career choices?
This degree prepares individuals for employment opportunities with accounting firms, small businesses, manufacturing firms, banks, hospitals, school systems, and governmental agencies.
Why Stanley Community College?
Here at Stanley Community College, we feel that college is not the ultimate destination. It's a place of discovery that equips you with knowledge and skills to journey on to a rewarding, successful future. Call us today to schedule a campus tour or visit us online to learn more. At Stanley Community College, we're changing lives.
What am I going to learn?
Students will learn scientific, artistic principles and hands-on fundamentals in all phases of professional imaging, hair design, chemical processes, skin care, nail care, multicultural practices, business, computer principles, product knowledge, and other selected topics. The curriculum provides a simulated salon environment that enables students to develop manipulative skills.
What are my career choices?
Graduates should qualify to sit for the State Board of Cosmetic Arts examination. Upon successfully passing this exam, graduates will be issued a license. Once licensed, students will be able to pursue employment opportunities in beauty salons and other related businesses.
Why Stanley Community College?
Here at Stanley Community College, we feel that college is not the ultimate destination. It's a place of discovery that equips you with knowledge and skills to journey on to a rewarding, successful future. Call us today to schedule a campus tour or visit us online at stanley.edu to learn more. At Stanley Community College, we are changing lives.
Back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press, Brian Carter, Carter Video Services. We are ready to go here tonight for the second half of West Stanley and South Stanley. Now, just to give you a couple of quick stats, Brian Carter, Jaquez Cook has 75 net rushing yards, 13 carries, but he's lost 19 yards. He is 9 of 18 through the air for 159 yards with one interception. But West Stanley on the ground has been diabolical. 209 yards, 24 carries, and 5 rushing touchdowns. Gavin Hudson, 56 yards, 6 carries, 2 TDs, and Jordan Poole is doing what Jordan Poole has done all year.
On offense and defense, Charles.
Especially on that, absolutely true. 141 yards, 11 carries, and 3 touchdowns. West Stanley has 15 first downs to South's 9. Total net yards, 209 for South, 280 for West. But the stats that are biggest for me, 2 lost fumbles by South Stanley, and the penalties. 9 penalties against the Bulls for 60 yards, 5 penalties, 45 yards against the Colts.
And here we go.
Puts the ball into the air is Garris, taken by, looks like, Brack Morgan, and will return it to the 29.
Justin Gaddy on the tackle.
Gaddy, 29-yard line. Hey, new ticket on the East Coast Wing, 6-0-2-3.
So first and 10 for the Colts now, leading 35-6.
And we still have another half of football.
29-point lead, yeah. Going to give it to Hudson. Hudson off the left side's got a couple of nice blocks in front of him. Will Barbie doing a great work on Jadarian Smith. You know, sometimes it's hard when you're calling these games, Brian, to get all the good blocks that people have in this game, but you can just see them all over the place. And I've always said that people need to get out to the games and see them for yourself.
Oh, yeah,
there's nothing like the experience of being at a game.
The smell of the popcorn, the chili fries.
faked the toss. Before that, we've got penalty markers down, and it's going to be an illegal procedure against West. That's the 6th penalty of the game against the Colts. Will knock West back to the 31. But yeah, it's not only just the environment of the game, but the idea of, you know, what these kids sacrifice to be out on this football field to play. And I don't want to get on a rant here standing on a soapbox, but, you know, they put their heart and soul and their butts on the line for their respective teams. And they're still playing hard and still keep coming. Shaq wants to throw now, looks over the middle, got his receiver, that's Hansen. Hansen still on his feet, he's still on his feet at the 40, 35-30, and finally goes down at the 26-yard line. He took a wicked shot. Jadarian Smith saved a touchdown there.
And he's getting up slowly, Charles.
Jadarian Smith, it may get lost in some of the shuffle of the result of the game, but Jadarian Smith has done yeoman-like work in this game, and he has taken a pounding in this game for sure. There you see him
hips, and he's
lined up against Will Barbie on the outside. 1st and 10 for the Colts now at the 24. It's going to be Poole. Nice block in front of him by number 55. Still on his feet. He's gone around the end zone. Touchdown, West Stanley Colts.
There you go.
So the 4th touchdown of the game for Poole. He got a great block. Drake Cullingford, number 55, was the number I called just a minute ago. So with 10:19 left to go in this 3rd quarter, just a minute and 41 seconds in, the Colts have broke this one. It was already wide open. They've just extended that margin even further. Jaramillo's extra point attempt is up and splits the uprights. 10:19 left, 3rd quarter, 42-6, West in command. Back on Stanley County Monday Night Football, I just heard a bad announcement. They're out of hot chocolate on a night like this. It is not good to be out of hot chocolate. Klutz will take the kickoff from the 17. And it's a penalty marker down around the 24 as he's down around the 29.
Let's check that penalty. It might be against South. Yeah,
it might be for a block in the back. I was.
Block in the back against the return team. We're going to spot the ball at the 14-yard line.
Yeah, penalties have really hurt the Bulls tonight.
Indeed, they have.
You know, plus those turnovers, like you said, early in the first half.
A little mix-up on the lineup there for South. That's their 10th penalty of the game. They marked the ball at the 15, 1st down. Quez wants to throw, rolls to his left, tries to get away from Travis, and his pass is incomplete, just juggled. Smith had a chance, and boy, took another just jackhammer shot.
Yeah, number 4, Christian Bowden, he knocked it out.
Knocked him to the ground as well. So incomplete will bring up 2nd down, and
forever.
Once again, it's 2nd and 10, but it's the idea that South has just
not been able to convert.
Just not been able to. They've moved the football at times. West Stanley's defense is bent but not broken. And the pressure they've been able to put on Quez has been the difference in this game, and the turnovers. It just you can't. You hear coaches say it. Turnovers will kill you. It becomes a cliche at some point, but it is actually so true. It's just the way that it changes the field position and the momentum of games.
And Cook tries to take it by himself.
And Cook's not going anywhere. this time that was Gavin Hudson, who comes up a little lame on his foot there.
Yeah, big number 75.
And gets some. There's a former West Stanley kid, Harrison Montgomery, patting the helmets of a couple of his teammates. Quez will get maybe a yard, bring up 3rd down and 9. Really no gain on the play. Back to throw again. Will roll to his left. Throws. He's got Smith. If that's a catch, that's a heck of a play.
I think they're waving it off.
They're waving it off, and Smith is slow to get up.
Yeah, he's still in there.
His feet got caught underneath him. Well, they're moving the chains like it's a catch. Well, they just sort of waited. I didn't see an indication that the pass had been complete. It is. It's going to be at the 26 for a 1st down for South. And Smith being looked at. At the sidelines. I thought he might have been, but no, he is back in at the slot as a slot receiver to the near side of the field. Quez looking that way as well. And now trying to find someone open. He's going to roll. He fumbles the football, now picks it back, goes right back into his hands. Still on his feet, 45-50, and he runs into a wall. A green wall by the name of Cole Carter. So Quez gets a 1st down. They'll mark it at the 47. It's a 21-yard gain and a 1st down, but he also had a little bit of a problem there.
I tell you, Cook is really taking it on his own shoulders to try to bring these Rebel Bulls back.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Bulls. 8:59, left in the 3rd. Cook is a one-man show, as you said. Give his receivers a lot of credit, though, for the catches that they've made.
Cook trying to draw him off.
He was trying to draw him off. West didn't bite. Pass over the middle, this time complete to Caraway. And Quavy makes a nice play for South.
I think they're saying.
And now they're saying it was incomplete. And I don't. I'm sorry. I don't think that's a particular.
South side do not.
And the South fans are voicing their displeasure with about that. It looked like a catch.
I was right on top of it.
You were on top of it. I was too. It looked like a catch, but looked like he was underneath it. Nonetheless, our opinion does not matter.
Does not matter.
It's the guys with the stripes. The stripes that matter. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Sort of a run and shoot look this time, with two wide receivers to either side. And again, another flag comes in. I believe this is going to be against South for a false start. It is. Move the ball back to the 42. And it's 2nd down and 15. And that is a penalty number 11 for 75 yards against South.
Man, they'll kill you every time.
Quez wants to throw again.
In trouble.
Rolls, and he fires, and it is. Is it caught? No signal yet. It is a catch. Wide receiver just got buried. Guess who it was that got buried too? Jadarian Smith.
Yep.
Smith is it's once again just takes another giant wallop, but I think he might be like about a half yard short. They're going to mark it.
Got to know each other quite well tonight.
They certainly have, and they'll mark it at the 44. It'll be 3rd down and 1, but
3rd down and a short 1.
Long snap. Cook trying to get to the outside. He will's got a first down 40. 35 puts on a little spin move and will get knocked out of bounds at the 33. Oh, is there a penalty marker down? Look at the official, I believe. There's a penalty at the 47.
This is coming back, it looks like. Holding against the offense is the penalty. So that's penalty number, what, 12 now?
12.
That penalty's going to put the ball back to 44-yard line. Third down is 13.
So what took away a good run makes it third down and 13 now. Cook wants to throw.
He's in trouble.
And he'll go down as a sack at the 43. And I believe it was 52 Travis Wilson on the sack.
You're correct, sir.
Taking long, Travis Wilson, Alvin Hutchinson on that stop, fourth down.
I don't know, would he go for it right here or punt it away?
Well, with the score 42 to
no brainer.
42 to 6, you know, it's really not a. It's not even really a moot. It's sort of a moot point.
And if the Colts get this back, it'll put them in great field position.
South had a little struggle earlier, a 25-yard loss on a bad punt snap.
Yeah.
They get this one away. It's a end-over-end, sort of a low kick. Check that Stoker, took a look at it and then decided against it. And it'll roll dead at the 29.
Ball's going to be the 30-yard line.
So Hicks punt sets the Colts up deep in their own territory with 7:19 left in the third. 36-point lead right now for West Stanley, 42 to 6. 6 more points and we'll have a running clock for the remainder of this game.
I just wonder how conservative the Colts are going to play this.
West has really not been in a hurry for most of this game, so logic would say that they'll probably not turn the tempo up particularly. Manchak's going to keep it this time. He's got a great lead block and another one in front of him, 40, and he'll scoot out of bounds. There's a contact out of bounds.
And the crowd's looking for a flag.
And there is a flag down at the 49. It comes in very late from the official at the 49-yard line.
That's not Manchak.
And it's a South. No, Manchak is the one that actually delivered the shot out of bounds.
Okay, so that's South.
And it's going to be an illegal block in the back. The flag has nothing to do with the man that's down. If I'm not mistaken, and I think that might be Jadarian Smith. He at the very end of that play, Manchak just crunched into him, and he gets a nice hand from the West cheerleaders and some of the West fans in front of him as well. And
you see that?
Yeah, he's not able to put weight on his right foot. And Manchak, that's a nice display of sportsmanship right there, as Jordan Manchak comes up to Jadarian.
It's like, sorry, man.
To apologize for the contact. You don't often see a quarterback finishing a run that strongly.
Yeah, it's a rough game, isn't it, Charles?
It is definitely a rough game, and I think, honestly, you watch this game from up here, or even in the stands, you watch the game from up here, but if you get a chance, and I would recommend, if you're going to help out, with a team, know how dangerous the sidelines are, and know the speed and the contact that happens on that field. That sideline is not meant for everybody.
Yeah.
Manchak now loads up. He's got Stoker just over his hands. Lawson Hicks was right there with him. Bring up second down.
On target, just a little too far.
Just a little too much air under the football. And again, as we said, Manshak has managed the game. He's distributed the ball as he needed. And he's an integral part of this offense with Logan Little not playing tonight and Gavin Hudson having to step up.
And he has stepped up.
At the fullback position, he has done it in spades, and he has actually been a little gimpy in this game with an ankle, looked like possibly an ankle problem. Going to fake now, we'll give it to Poole. Poole with a little, that counter tray that West Stanley has run so well this year, and it takes a plethora of Bulls to take him down. That was a plethora. I counted five.
I counted five, okay.
So Huntley will get credit for the tackle, but he was one of a host of Rebel Bulls in on the play. 14 yards and a first down for the Colts. Well in control of this game.
And this clock continues to run with 6:44, 42-6 in favor of the Colts.
In county games this season, they beat North Stanley 42-0. West did. They beat Albemarle 36-20. That's 78-20. If you add that with this, they've only given up 26 points in the 3 county games so far. And they've scored whatever 78 plus 42 is. And here goes Stoker all the way around the sideline. End zone touchdown, West Stanley Colts. A 47-yard run.
Wow. Stoker's making a name for himself tonight.
And with 6 minutes, 13 seconds left, it's a 42-point margin, and the clock is running.
So that would necessitate the running clock.
Running clock for the rest of the game. So anyway, so with 48 points, 48 and 78 is 126 if my math is right. So they've outscored opponents 126-26 in the 3 county games so far. Extra point up and good. 6:41 left in the third. 49-6. 49-6 West Stanley with a running clock now here in the third quarter. End over end kick is actually going to drive South back to the 5-yard line. And a wonderful open field tackle by Black Morgan. I think it was number 81.
Did you see how many times he spun around?
He just spun him around twice.
Yeah, that was
double airplane spin, and it was guess who?
Smith.
Jadarian Smith. Again, you have to just give Jadarian Smith an absolute pat on the back for being a warrior in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you really want to give him a consolation prize, if anything. I mean, he's been a workhorse tonight.
Yeah, he has. He has been tremendous, to say the least. Ball resting at the 7-yard line. Quez wants to throw, looking far sideline.
Dangerous.
Now we'll run. And he's taking off 15. He's got a first down and will scoot out of bounds.
Yeah, Hudson is
around the 20.
Out of bounds, very gingerly.
Forced out of bounds. Going to be about 21-22-yard line. Game's about 14. That's the first down for South Stanley.
And down to 2:46, 49-6, favor of the Colts.
Quez now tries to throw near side. It is just waylaid.
Yeah.
by Travis Wilson.
Back to complete second down.
Brings up second down. And with that incompletion, Cook is now 11 for 23 for 184 yards. Fakes to Smith. Now will give the run game has just not been there. Anything up the middle has just been. Cameron Honeycutt has not been able to get ahead of steam at all in this game. And Alvin Hutchinson has been one of the reasons for that to happen.
Defense for the West Stanley Colts has been just phenomenal tonight.
That's been phenomenal all season long, and it continues tonight.
Just keep getting better and better.
They've got some tests ahead, though. Anson County and Mount Pleasant are still looming in their Rocky River Conference schedule. Those are going to be huge matchups for the Colts.
Cook in trouble.
Cook wants to throw, is going to keep it, and he will scoot out of bounds, and he is really close. And might have gotten a little bit of a push afterwards. You can hear a little
jeers from the crowd.
Jeers is a good word for it from the South faithful. We'll mark it down at the 31. It'll bring up 4th down and 1 in the final 20 seconds. Eight seconds left. 7, 6.
I probably won't get this off.
And they will not, as you say, as we have reached the end of the third quarter. It's 3 quarters in the books here at West Stanley High School with a score: West Stanley 49, South Stanley 6 on Stanley County Monday Night Football. We're back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press. Brian Carter of Carter Video Services.
A little ha.
A little LaGrange for you. With the clock now already underway. I was trying to pull up while we were at the break. I was trying to find the scores of the all-time series between these two teams. Quez is going to take it on a straight bootleg to the right side. And look out, he is gone. Look at the speed of Jaquez Cook. Wow. See you later. Touchdown, South Stanley, Rowdy Rebel Bulls. There are no penalty flags down either. A 69-yard touchdown run for Jaquez Cook.
I tell you, he's got to be tired with the effort he's put in this game.
11:14 showing on the clock, or was.
And continues to run. As you can see in our picture-in-picture.
Yes. One of the rare places where we do have picture-in-picture when it comes to that. Jacob Garris now for the extra point. Extra point is up. And it is no good. 10:34 with the clock running, 49-12. West Stanley out in front. Back on Stanley County Monday Night Football, Charles Curcio, Stanley News and Press, and Brian Carter of Carter Video Services.
Ready for the kickoff, 49-12. favor of the Colts. We'd like to thank the good people at Stanley Community College for allowing us to do this broadcast.
Short kickoff goes right into the hands of Hunter Haithcock, number 71, and Haithcock just sits right down on the football. A version of an onside kick, if you will.
Yeah, thank you, Mark, Michelle, Andre, and the good folks.
We thank everyone there, and we of course thank everyone at the Stanley News and Press that allows yours truly to be here on this broadcast as well. And we don't forget, fans, our sports coverage, the snaponline.com 24/7, and in our print edition 3 days a week. We just keep trying to do what we do.
And available at newsstands everywhere.
Shaq now is going to get, no, he's not going to get tackled for a loss. I thought for a minute he was. He's going to end up losing yards, but on his 2 feet, getting out of bounds. So Shaq will lose about 3-4 yards to bring up 2nd down and 14, but it was all he could do just to survive that particular play. We will have
got to be careful at this point. I mean,
yes, that's true.
Since him taking any chances, got 7:33 to go with a very comfortable lead,
and a lot of big games still left to play.
Right. You didn't say one of the big ones, Anson County, Mount Pleasant.
Anson County, Mount Pleasant are just 2 on the schedule. Here's Poole. He'll get back the lost yards at the 43, maybe the 44. Cade Turner that time made the tackle. So it'll be 3rd down and about 13. Didn't get all of it back. But in the history of this series, trying to look it up right now.
Oh man,
throw long down and field and incomplete, looking for Barbie that time.
Like interference.
And there is a penalty marker down there, maybe for a late hit. It is roughing the passer against South Stanley.
Roughing the passer is going to be called against the defense.
Yeah, I swear I saw interference down the field, Charles.
That'll be the 13th penalty of the game against South Stanley. And to be marked from the West 44. Should be down to the South 36. 41, actually.
That's the ball, 41-yard line, West Stanley, 1st down.
So it'll be 1st and 10. 6 minutes left, excuse me. Post-game show coming up. It'll be another one of our ones that we get to do just about every year. We get to give that Stanley Cup away.
Ah, that's right.
This time it's a toss sweep to Hudson. Instead, Poole blocks 2 guys out of the way. Gavin Hudson will go out of bounds. There's a penalty marker, though, back at the 40, which may negate the run, and it will be holding. So it'll be marked back to the West 49. It'll bring up 1st and 20.
Looks like 1st down and about 20 to go.
But this is not the biggest win for West Stanley in the history. It's 37. It's now a 37-point margin. West won 54-0 a few years ago. Here's Hansen this time. South trying to get a turnover, and Hansen will get down to the the South 46.
As we go below 4 minutes.
We will have a jubilant post-game show for the West Stanley Colts in just a few minutes. We have several players to possibly choose from. Player of the week.
Oh, yes, hard decision.
Hard not to give it to a Jordan Poole who runs for four touchdowns as well.
Hard.
Because Poole right now, along with those 4 rushing touchdowns, is at 181 yards on 14 carries.
There's Stoker.
Stoker this time will go down around the 37 maybe. Lawson Hicks on the tackle.
Hey folks, it's that time. Chick-fil-A sandwiches, $3. Hamburgers, half off.
3rd and 6 now with 3 minutes left. Again, West Stanley's got a tough game next week.
Let's see, where shall we be at next week, Charles?
I love it when you ask me questions that I don't know the answer to. You have the best knack for doing that of anyone I've ever met. I believe it's South Davidson and Albemarle, but I'll have to check that on our way down to the field. I believe because it is homecoming next week for the Bulldogs. Here goes Poole. Could he get touchdown number 5? Not on this play, as he'll get caught from behind by Klutz and Jadarian Smith at the 7-yard line.
And they're knocking on the door again.
And that will put Poole over 200 yards. 15 carries.
First and goal on the 7.
And they're just taking as much time off the clock as they can.
15 carries now, 211 yards with a minute and a half left to play.
Definitely no hurry.
West taking as much time as they can, and they may just take a knee here. We'll see what West decides to do. This looks like victory formation. I believe it is.
That's what's happening. Yeah, you can tell.
So West Stanley, it looks like they may not run another play.
Really no need to.
They're just letting the clock completely run out. I don't even think they're going to take a knee at this point. And that will be it. So your final score, West Stanley 49, South Stanley 12. The Stanley Cup comes back to Red Cross, to the Kelly Green, black and white clad West Stanley Colts. We'll be back with the postgame show. He's Brian Carter, I'm Charles Curcio, and we are Stanley County. Monday Night Football! We're here on the West Stanley field on Stanley County Monday Night Football on our postgames, and we've got our players of the week: Austin Stoker. I got that, Austin Stoker, and Alvin Hutchinson. First, let's talk about Alvin. Got something for them that everybody's really anxious to get. First, let's talk a little bit about the turnovers were big in this game. You got that first kickoff recovery, and then you got an interception later. Why do you think the turnovers made such a difference in this game?
I mean, it starts off the game with that first fumble recovery. You know, you just got to fly down the field and get the offense rolling.
It just seemed like all night you were able to do that defensively to be able – you were setting your guys up for short fields as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, with Jordan Poole running the ball, he can make anybody miss. Yeah. You know, with our offense, it's just that easy.
Absolutely. And Alvin, let's talk a little bit about pressure on Jaquez Cook and the running game. How are you guys able to get such pressure into the backfield?
Man, we've been hearing how fast he was all week. I just wanted to put pressure on him so we can stop him. It's pretty good. You got sacks on him. You were able to keep Quez contained. This defense all season has maybe not gotten as much attention as it should have. Why do you think this defense? What do you think this defense's capabilities are for this year?
I mean, I feel like we can go as far as we can push ourselves if we continue to state championship. Honestly, if we keep pushing ourselves.
Well, there you go. I think this is yours.
Just to get it.
We'll be back on Monday Night Football. I hope this thing is working.
All right.
Back on the postgame show on Stanley County Monday Night Football with West Stanley head coach Brett Morton. Coach, the Stanley Cup is back at West Stanley. How does it feel to have that trophy back?
It feels great. I mean, it's a goal that we've been working for, and to see it finally pay off is fantastic. So I mean, I'm happy for the guys. I mean, number one, I mean it's tremendous for them. I mean, they've been working for it. It's been a goal since it left from here in 2016. So like I said, I'm happy for them.
What do you think were some of the biggest factors tonight? I thought defensively, just being able to keep Quez under pressure and keep him contained for the majority of the game.
Yeah, defense, I mean, everybody likes offensive numbers, but I'm a defensive guy myself. But our defense has played very well all year, putting pressure on him, making him roll, making him make bad throws, or at least attempting to make him make bad throws. That kid's a ball player, man. I have a ton of respect for him. But, we did what we needed to do. We limited them in every way we possibly could. So hats off to the defense. I mean, they've done a great job all season.
And forcing turnovers, too, was a big factor tonight as well, I thought.
Absolutely. Forcing turnovers. Get in. Come on. Yeah. Forcing turnovers is always huge. Anytime you get turnovers, you can put your offense back out on the field, chance to score, chew the clock. I mean, that's always huge.
And not to forget offense, of course, but Poole 4 touchdowns, 2 from Gavin Hudson as well, who stepped into the fullback position tonight. You just seem to get that kind of consistent production on offense.
I mean, that's something that we try to work every day. We try to distribute the ball between Poole and the F and all the other positions on offense. We're trying to make sure we're not one-dimensional, so if they do key on one, we can get production from the other side as well.
7-0 now, best start, continuing the best start in West history at Montgomery Central next week. Another critical conference matchup. How do you keep this going?
I mean, they have embraced the one week at a time mentality. So our whole goal is to be 1-0 after next week. So we're gonna enjoy this for the next 24 hours, and then come Monday we're going back to work.
Thank you very much, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll be back on Stanley County Monday Night Football. So the Stanley Cup comes back to Red Cross as the West Stanley Colts win tonight 49-12 over South Stanley. Poole with a great game, 4 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns from Gavin Hudson, and the defense was tremendous for West Stanley tonight as well. Next week will be homecoming for the Albemarle Bulldogs as the Bulldogs host the South Davidson Wildcats. For my partner Brian Carter of Carter Video Services, I'm Charles Curcio. See you in print and online at thesnaponline.com, and we'll see you on TV next week. Hashtag Brave Bryn, hashtag Team Tate.
Football is a 20th century technological struggle.
And what I seen was this whole raft of people a-setting on these 2 banks and looking at one another across this pretty little green cow pasture.
Football has hitting, clipping, spearing, blocking, piling on, late hitting, unnecessary roughness, and personal fouls.